how do you think the disciples and Jesus would be using social media, or would have used social media?
I think of someone that when we read like the Bible, that he was always about empowering like the down and the lost and the least. And I think one way he would maybe have used social media, if he had it, I think, is that Jesus would have used those platforms where there was mass audiences to maybe communicate a bit of the kingdom of heaven. So before the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus was standing on the mountain and people were gathering, and he sort of saw, there's more people coming. So he went higher up the mountain so more people could hear. And there's another time where he's on a beach and he gets in a boat and he goes further out of the shore so more people could hear. So I think Jesus, being perfect, could have figured out a way of communicating the kingdom of heaven without making it all about like him being so cool, but all about being them coming to him.
Because I feel like being a Christian, there's a massive misconception where if you're a Christian and you're on social media that you have to preach, that you have to be preaching the Bible 24/7. And I think some creatives and influencers that I love watching is people that don't preach, they're Christians, but they're showing their faith doing comedy. They're showing their faith. Like I watch cookers and they're Christians. And so you don't have to like be preachers. And I think, what you guys are saying, literally the disciples would have done what they're good at, honestly, yeah.